Jake, I'll call the committee meeting to order. All right, I'm calling the committee meeting to order at 6:03. And with that, I'll read the text if you want me to. Due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, in accordance with Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021, suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, public bodies otherwise governed by the OML are temporarily relieved from the requirements that meetings be held in public places, open and physically accessible to the public, so as long as measures are taken to ensure public access to the body's deliberations through adequate and alternative means. This meeting will be live on Zoom, and the public may participate remotely by joining Zoom meeting ID number of 818-0509-7403 or by calling 929-205-6099. For additional information about the remote participation, please contact Alicia Hersey at ahershey@ayer.ma.us or 978-772-8220, extension 142 prior to the meeting. Okay, all yours, James. No, Jake, I'm sorry.
Okay, and then I'll call the, do I have to call the Affordable Housing Trust to meeting as well? Or are we under the joint umbrella?
Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna call the Ayer Affordable Housing Trust meeting at 6:04 p.m. And then do I need to read the, reread the statement there?
Nope, you got
Yeah.
the bobbleheads going.
No?
He was looking the
You
other
were
way, but all
good.
the heads were
You're
going.
good.
Yes.
Okay. So we'll go through, we'll call the meeting to order. We'll go through general business. We have to approve our agenda. So can I hear a motion to approve the,
I was gonna say, I don't have the date. Do we want to do the Housing Trust agenda and both of them this evening?
Joint meeting.
It's a joint meeting.
I move to approve the agenda for tonight's joint meeting.
Seconded.
I was
Okay.
thinking minutes, I'm sorry.
minutes? Yes. So do you want me to, Janet, would you like me to go down the list and call for a vote for both the committee and the trust? Do you want to do those separately?
We'll have to do them separately.
Okay. Jeff,
Aye.
thank you. Pat,
Aye.
thank you. Cindy,
Aye.
James isn't here. Sean,
Aye.
and then Colleen. Thank you. And then myself, aye. So the Ayer Affordable Housing Trust has approved the agenda for this meeting, March 23rd.
And for the Ayer Affordable Housing Committee, can I hear a motion? To
make
approve
a
the
motion.
agenda?
I'll make a motion that the Air Affordable Housing Committee approve the agenda for March 22, 2022.
Second.
All right, Ken seconds it, Ron seconds it, Ken made the motion. All in favor, Ron?
23, I'm sorry, I said 22 by mistake.
Did you? Yeah, the 23rd. All right, Ron's
Indeed.
aye. Ken?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, the chair says aye. So it's been passed unanimous. All right. Moving on, we've got, I know we do have some public members, here. We're looking for public comment. All right, and if that, I don't hear anything, there'll probably be questions later on. I'll pass it back to you, Jake, and you can go on for the update on the rental assistance.
So we have an update on our rental assistance program. Alicia, if you do you have anything on that?
You're muted.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yes, we're moving right along with this. We've notified all the landlords and.
We can't hear you, Alicia.
Okay, you can't hear me?
Nope.
I can.
I can hear her.
I can hear.
What'd you do?
Is your kitty helping you? How
Janet,
you
it may be
doing,
the
Janet? Can you hear
speaker,
now?
maybe a speaker button on the Zoom
Oh,
app.
Janet's go,
Try
oh,
turning your volume up.
So who's playing?
I- Elevator music?
off. Turn it off.
Mm.
I think it's Janet.
I think something's going on with her show.
Go ahead.
She's
Jane.
partying.
Her cat stepped on a key.
Those cats. Gotta be on everything.
I think we need to go ahead.
You want us to go ahead? There's not, so the one thing that I'm requesting is I've been setting up the payment system through the accounting department. We're still getting, I'm trying to think, there's so much going on that it's hard to know where to start. So I'm talking with the landlords and I'm quite excited because I thought 2 landlords were not going to work out with us, but actually it looks like maybe all 5 will work with us.
Good.
And that's very good, but getting all the little pieces to it. And I've talked to the building inspector about the occupancy occupancy permit, not really a permit, but just showing that it's a legal apartment. And Charlie told me that he wants to go out and just check every apartment for safety with Fire Bob. So just to make sure we have smokes in there working and we've got 2 egresses and the bedroom windows open and all that kind of stuff, because he feels that for our liability, we should not go into it without a full check on that. And so we were going to set that up for Tuesday. The long and the short of this is we're trying to get all this paperwork done by the 1st of the month. And I'm actually thinking we're going to push off and start the 1st of May. I've got one landlord who's saying, no, if we're starting April 1st, I need the check April 1st. I'm like, come on, the town's good for it. But anyway, instead, I think that it's going to be a real stretch to get everybody on board in time. There is a couple landlords that have not been receiving full rent for a while. So I'm going to play it by ear and possibly I'll start some of them April 1st and some of them May 1st. Does anybody have any input on that? And how do people feel about that?
Question.
Alicia, will Charlie have time and Bob have time to get out and look at those units in that?
They were talking about doing it Tuesday afternoon, but the problem is it's everything from I was working with one landlord and then didn't hear anything from him and turned out he was in the hospital. And, one person owes water and sewer bills, one person owes tax bills. And so getting everybody up to speed, because I'm trying to make it legal across the board. It's really tough to get all the documents in. I did title searches, short title searches because they had to show that they legally owned the apartment, the units. And finally, instead of having them bring in documentation for me, I just went on the registry of deeds and did it wasn't a true title search. It was just a short title search. But one unit was telling me he was built in the 1980s, so he didn't need a lead certificate. And on the deed, because it's a condo, it looked like it was 76 and lead changed in 78. And so actually what happened was, because it was a condo, his unit was actually not built to 83, but that took me a little bit of time getting that down on the registry and everything. I'm pretty excited. For a while there, I was thinking that we were going to have 2 landlords that didn't work out. And now they're all talking about doing it. So that's a big help. I just want to find out. I really did not want to push this off to May 1st, but I don't know. I mean, when I got the email this afternoon about the gentleman in the hospital, I was just like, great, don't talk to me till you have this all sorted out. You can't force things sometimes. So,
I have a question.
Yeah.
We
yes.
didn't have anything in the application process about you had to be current on your rent.
The town will not cut a check for, no, they don't have to be current on their rent.
Okay.
May I
And,
ask-
yes, excuse me.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was going to respond to your question is, I think you asked us, is it okay if it starts
May
April
1st.
1st or May 1st? And I would say, I think that would be something that you can make a decision on, Alicia. Because
Okay,
if
thank
some
you.
people are in a position where this would be a benefit to them right away, I mean, you're doing yeoman's work. Thank you very much for all the work you're doing. This can't be easy.
Well,
There's a
getting,
lot of, so I say, let's help people going forward. And I hope it doesn't add to your list of things to do, but what works for you?
well, I'm one of these people that actually try and push things, to the edge a little bit because everybody needs help and they need it today. They don't need it, not necessarily tomorrow. So I really try to do that. And I knew I was being aggressive on that April 1st because we're dealing with 10 different parties, and getting all that documentation is hard. And I was also wondering how I was going to do an occupancy permit. And then I went up and talked to Charlie and he's like, no, Fire Bob and we're going to go into every unit. We just want to make sure everything's there. And there's been a lot of questions from the landlord on the landlord agreement, which basically says we are not a landlord. We are just giving rental assistance, and your contract or your agreement, whether it's a tenant at will agreement, whether it's a lease agreement, whatever it is between you and the tenant. And if for any reason they have the right to evict if they need to, they just have to inform us. Now, the thing about back rent, the reason we didn't do that, and this is why some landlords are like, yes, we want you on board right away, is because they have tenants that owe them money. And they're hoping that this will give them possibly a chance to start catching up. Now, whatever the case is, I had one landlord who was surprised at the tenant who applied and said, wait a minute, I've got a tenant who really needs this, which is another one. And so we're going to get an application in to be a backup application and be ready for the next time around too. So all of this is, it's been a lot of moving pieces and we've really pushed it through really quickly, especially getting the landlord agreement together and the tenant agreement together, which is basically agreements just saying you have to contact us. You have to follow by the rules of the program. You have to contact us if somebody moves out or if a lease is terminated or any of that sort of thing. And it just outlines what the program is. And the program is basically just rental assistance. It is not, we are not being landlords. Hi, Pat. Yes.
Hi, quick question. How will that, or is there anything in place so that these landlords at the end of the year show that the town provided X amount towards rental assistance in their income? I'm just now being
Yes,
nosy.
we have to submit, and I'm trying to
1099s,
remember.
are they?
Yeah,
Okay.
yes, to them. And I've been telling them that too, but basically it's assumed that they're going to, that they then can write off, their taxes are their taxes, but the town has to do that. And that's part of the setting up the whole accounting system. I've been back and forth with the accounting department several times about, when's the best time for us to be submitting so that we can get checks out and all that sort of thing. Pat and Ron, I have one quick question for you. I've got a call in. We've got one unit that needs, 2 units that needed lead certificate, but one turned out to be 83. So I documented that, put that in the file. The other unit has a lead certificate of compliance, but it's from 1993. Is that still valid? I've got to call into Christine.
I
What
would,
would you guys say about that?
well, I will tell you that section 8, because it's not 20 years old. It's only what, 19 years old, they would allow it. But then next year it would have to be evaluated again.
Oh, no, it's 93, not
Oh, okay.
2003.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, no.
Would they allow it? Would Section 8 allow it?
Let me find out for sure. I do not believe that they will. Is there a child the age of 6 or less going to live there?
Yes.
That could be a challenge. That could
Can I
put
ask
the
just a-
landlord in a position to have to delet, but we'd have to see.
Can I ask a quick question? When you say you have a lead certificate, you talk about a property transfer notification form that's been filled out in 93, or an actual de-lead happened in
No,
93?
a lead test, a full lead test, and it was found compliant.
So it passed a lead test.
It
Then
tested
the
the
property
compliance.
notification should be fine going forward.
Yes, the notification, if it's full compliance, yes.
Yes, it was full
Sometimes a
compliance.
letter of compliance has other, just little things on it, like, oh, by the way, they have to do the exterior window sills, or,
No,
there's
it
other.
It
points
passed,
on
but
there.
it said that if at any time there's peeling paint, and it's a long time ago, we're almost talking 30 years,
30 years.
okay?
Right.
Then it would need to be tested again.
It sounds like they did an encapsulation.
It sounds like something Charlie might look at while they're out there as well, and see if he
Yes.
sees it. Not that he's going to be able to say there's lead there, but.
But
at
if he
least
sees
could-
no peeling paint, then we could make the, I'm just wondering how we do this, because this is a child under 6, and it is, but you hate to say no to them too. I mean, it's really a 6 of one, half dozen of another, but
Right.
I don't want to put the town in at risk.
Do we have a town attorney that you could
I
ask?
would, yeah, I would first of all pass it by an attorney, but it would seem to me that as long as the compliance rules have not changed, might enter into it too, because if they were doing one
That's-
thing in, years ago that now they aren't doing, or more, they're doing more now.
So
You
the
know.
person who did the lead test back in 93 is the person that I still use to do all my lead inspections. So I have a call into her.
Yeah,
Okay,
that would be yeah, and she could probably answer a lot of the questions.
Yeah, I just didn't know where you guys were at on your section 8s, but that's another one. So these are all the reasons that I'm thinking I'm pushing everything out, except for possibly one who is struggling to make full rent. And I
Who is
might start them on March 1st,
April 1st. Or...
April 1st, yeah.
Alicia, Jake, through you. So 2 questions on that. So the people who are behind on the rent, are they, and I'm going to guess from an email, have they been referred to like Raft and RCAP? And do the landlords understand if they have been, if they indeed have been?
Remember, we say you can't do both in our program guidelines. So
That's right. Like,
what we could do is later on, after we get everybody in there, possibly amend them so that they could go for back rent
right.
only, but they can't get rental assistance, because that would be something that would really help people to get up to speed and then have this rental assistance that will put them in a place where they're actually maybe moving forward and getting ahead.
Right. And I guess maybe it'd be like just thinking future, these obviously we're working out all the kinks now. to see what that looks like. So my experience with RCAP right now is that they're forward funding like 3 months for people. I don't know that it was always the thing. I think that's more of a recent thing. But if it is like moving forward, if there's a way to just cover back rent, so that they're
Yes.
not in violation of our program and they're not in violation of seeking RCAP money.
Yes.
And then I think Pat had a question on this, but just my other question after that would be, and this is more food for thought, are there lessons learned from this experience now with the landlord side of the application? Things that we might need to change for next year, things we may have missed, or things that could be done easier?
I need to get all the way through the process, and I'll be able to answer that question a
Okay,
little bit
that's
better.
fair.
I was really worried about asking them to do a safety inspection. Landlords don't love the building inspector in their in their buildings. So, and yet a number of them have been perfectly fine. And this is why we're saying we want real apartments. You know, that I had people that came in and no, they didn't have a lease, so they were in an eviction process or all sorts of other things. What we really want is real legal apartments, because we don't want to be supporting something that shouldn't be there.
I agree.
So, and that's the whole landlord. When I started talking to them about doing this inspection, I thought some people's heads were going to pop off, but actually, surprisingly, they've worked with me on it.
It's a positive.
Yeah.
Sean, all I wanted to add to that is we were talking about back rent. There's a program called Community Teamwork. And they will give you, I believe it's a $4,000 max to pay back rent and that sort of thing. And I only know that because I just helped somebody to get it.
That's one I have not heard of yet. So
Yeah,
thank you.
community, they're amazing. They do a lot of really amazing things. They actually furnished an entire unit for a tenant who was coming from a shelter. So they really do some really nice things. And Alicia, I can give you their info if you're interested in just seeing what the programs are that are available. That's up to you.
Well, one of the I would really appreciate that. One of the things that we wrote in the guidelines was that they had to agree to look for ways to stabilize themselves. And this is where I'm really hopeful that we end up getting that social worker for the town, because this is something that I need somebody checking in with them and helping them start that process. I mean, I can do it, but it's not my expertise. And so, but I will make sure that they apply for different things. There's a couple elderly people that I'm thinking they might make it through our program 1 year, they might make it through 2 or 3, but by the end, they probably should be in subsidized housing, because looking at their finances, it's just not going to work any other way. And if there are in our program and we start talking about that, you start saying, okay, if you're going to need to get out of this program, we need to give you some lead time on getting them applied for subsidized housing. And it will help them make that jump. So any other questions? I think I'm just telling you that if everybody's okay with it, I'm at the point where, other than the person who's not even making all their rent right now, I'm thinking I'm going to push this out to the May 1st date.
I think that's fair.
Okay.
Probably some of these landlords are already accustomed to Section 8 that pays on the 15th of the month.
Well,
no matter what.
I had one tell me, no, every check has to be there on the 1st of the month. I'm like, okay. So, but I didn't think he was going to do the program. And if he does the program, I will be happy. And if he lets us in to do an inspection, I will be happy.
Well, now what if he says no to an inspection? Now what?
Well, the whole thing is that I thought he was going to say no to it. He's got a management company. I thought they were going to say no. And then just yesterday, I got a phone call and they're talking like they're doing it. And I'm like, okay. And
If someone did say no, does that take them out of the program?
what I am presenting to both parties is this is an agreement between the town, the landlord, and the tenant. And you have to have 3 willing parties.
Okay.
And it is a heartbreak if one of the parties says no, but that's the only way we can do it. It's gotta be a try agreement, between 3 groups, three people.
Do we need a motion to accept this?
I don't know.
Well, just in case, I move
Yeah,
that
you
we,
guys can take a motion. Could somebody make a motion that we,
Oh.
just give me the leeway to have it either start on,
I move that we authorize Alicia to begin the program either April 1st or May 1st with each individual person, depending upon which works out the best with that landlord.
Seconded.
All right, I'm going to call for a vote for the Affordable Housing Trust to approve the motion. Jeff,
Aye.
Pat,
Aye.
Cindy,
Aye.
Sean,
Aye.
Colleen,
Aye.
and myself, aye. The Ayer Affordable Housing Trust has approved the motion to approve Alicia to start the rental assistance on either April 1st and May 1st.
thank you.
Jake, through you, before we move on from this topic, Alicia, thank you so much for doing this. I'm grateful that it's only 5 families this first round, just because I think this has been a very great learning experience for this. I can't imagine if there was 10 families and 10 landlords. And yeah, so thank you very much for all the extra work you've been doing on this. It's
Oh,
much
thank
appreciated.
you.
Thank
A
you.
lot of it is just setting up the systems. Once you get the systems in, like you just write everybody this letter or write everybody this email and you start getting the systems in that. But when you're setting up the system as you're doing it the first time, it's a little bit more complicated. But thank you. So, Jake, are we moving on to the next thing? Is this, yes, this
Absolutely,
is
we
so-
can. So we're anything further on the update for rental assistance? I don't think so. So we'll move on to the application for the CPA funds. I believe it was last CPC meeting. I went and applied, and it has to go through I believe it has to be approved at the town meeting that's upcoming, correct?
First, it goes to a public hearing through CPC next Wednesday and then to the town meeting. So the public hearing votes it on to town.
Excellent, thank you.
When will that public hearing be, Janet? Like your normal meeting time or another special time?
It's gonna start at 6 o'clock on the
6 o'clock.
30th. Right.
On-
And it's not our normal week to meet. It's a
It's
special
been
week.
advertised and so forth for yeah.
Yes, it's been in the Neshoba Valley Voice.
Yep, okay, thanks.
Mhm. We've learned from the planning board, we've got them all starting at 6 o'clock. So look on the agenda and you'll see which one is first, second, third, fourth, because we have all 4 of them.
I think I saw 4 ads, maybe something like that.
Correct. There are 4 ads. Mhm.
If anyone else has anything to add for the application for CPA funds, I do know that the presentation that I presented was approved, and again, it'll go through the CPC board, and then it'll go to town meeting. But we'll just have to keep our eyes open on that and see where it goes. I think it's one of 4 projects that they're presenting to the town, right?
Correct. Yeah.
And I think it'll be well received. I have high hopes.
Well, especially since we had the successes. Looks like we may have some public comments or questions? Sarah?
I actually just had a question. What was the amount of the funding request?
$60,000.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
sorry.
twice the amount. And that's why I think Sean went ahead and said we had the 5 individuals and now they're going to be going for 10 individuals or 10 families. Okay. All right, Jake, back to you.
We'll move on to the Air Commons update. Alicia, I don't know if you have anything on that. I've been hearing some things about that, but
What
I'll
have
let
you been
Alicia.
hearing? Because I haven't been hearing anything about that and I've put phone calls through. So I'd like to hear what's on the street.
So I guess there's something about the land at HM Flag. I'm not too positive on this, but there's something about the land at HM Flag. Obviously, last time there were some issues with it being conservation land. But I think there may be a dispute with the family that the family that owns the land. They may own particular parts of the land. I'm not too sure on that, but that's what I was hearing on the street. But you haven't heard anything back from that, Alicia?
So there was a question because the appraisal came through and they had the water and sewer at the wrong, I think the sewer hookup at the wrong place. And it's actually on the back of it's on Isaac Lane and you would have to go underground and bring it across the wetlands. I don't know if that has to do with it, but and there is some issues with the appraisal, but we haven't heard back. I mean, this has been at DHCD and we've heard from DHCD, but we haven't heard from NOAA for a little bit. So I did try and reach out to them just to get an update for this meeting. And I haven't, early in the week, and I haven't actually last week. And I haven't heard back from them on that. So I don't have anything to update. And I would love to see this one because it was so well designed and it was all affordable and all that kind of stuff. So anything we can do to keep it moving, we're trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
Jake?
Jake?
I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry, Jeff, go ahead.
Jake, through you. I don't think having to go underneath the wetlands would prove to be much of a challenge. We've seen horizontal directional drilling being used 3 times recurrently here in town for water lines and for sewer lines. Most recent would have been over on Shaker Mill Pond. So I'd hope that if that is raised as a real issue, maybe we can circle the wagons and have a discussion about that. But DPW has done a lot of work along that line. So there's a lot of familiarity with it now.
I think part of what's happened is the original person who was designing this actually left the firm, NOAA, and then it went to another party. And they're having some issues with appraisals and things like that. So that's all. And I can't really go into it, but we still are hopeful, but I have not heard anything, so.
All right. Jake, through you to Alicia. The other thing that I've heard on the street is that the phase 1 testing, that there's been an issue with the phase 1.
Okay.
That's what I've heard out on the street. So I don't know if anybody, like I say, if the planning board or whatever, if anything's happened through that or.
But just to
Phase 1
remind,
like an environmental?
just to remind you, the planning board only gets involved if asked by the ZBA, the zoning board of appeals, for a advisory role. It's the applications for 40Bs goes to the zoning board of appeals.
Okay.
But I'm skeptical about anything that would be heard on the street.
Oh, no, I understand that. But, again, it was more of what people have been saying out on the street, why it hasn't been moved forward. And like I said, that was one of the things that I did hear. And it's like I told them, I haven't heard anything about that.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm going to take my information from Alicia and from direct contact with Noah. That's what's good for me.
agreed.
And I wish I had more to say. I'm sorry, I don't have more to say.
Oh, no worries. Thank you for hanging in there with us, and thank you for reaching out to them again. I know it can be kind of difficult to keep in touch with people, especially where they don't really have a physical person you can contact. It's all virtual. But if there's nothing further for Air Commons, we'll move on to the tax title property updates. You have an update for the list, Alicia?
That's Janet's going to work
Yeah.
on that.
Janet? Okay.
Right. I'll take over from here. Thank you, Jake. Yeah, text title properties, I had asked Barbara Tierney for an updated list. And with that, it looks as if the prior list that the committee was looking at, approximately 10 properties have been dropped from that list, and we got 8 new properties. Within those 8 new properties, there's about 4 of them that are considered residential. Some of them, again, some of them have a very small amount for what they owe. Some of them are larger. Couple of them, I mean, one of them I've got a question. There's a property on Littleton Road. It looks like has about 24,000 due in taxes. 24,000. So I need to find out a little bit about that one because when I look on the assessor's site, it doesn't go back to that same owner. Couple of them, well, 2 of them end up being condo units. So these are things, like I say, you've got to go ahead and sift through. But I don't see any open space or any type of land that would be available for a housing parcel. But we did, like I say, we did get, it's amazing on how just in under 6 months and how the list can change like that. So it was nice that Barbara was able to turn it around. Alicia, did you see anything else extra within that list at all?
To be fair, I just scanned it quickly. The one thing that I would want to say is, I know this isn't specifically tax title, but going back to the whole Air Commons, I do think the biggest change we can make in affordable housing in this town is to get a good nonprofit 40B. And if for any reason Air Commons doesn't make it, I think one way we can make that happen is if we could ever find a good location, purchase it, and then go out for RFP requesting exactly what we want, a nonprofit. We can even get down to specifics about what kind of units we wanted and things like that, and see what a nonprofit would respond to that. So as we're looking at this the different properties and things like that, keep that in mind if we can find something big enough for something like that.
Again, there wasn't anything on this
No.
tax title. All right, so again, I'll go ahead and make sure that I send this out to the committee so they can go ahead and review it.
Yes, thank you, Janet. I'm sorry, I should have done that. I'm sorry.
That's okay, no problem. No, like I say, you got enough on your plate with the rental assistance. Cindy?
Oh, so the Hudlin property is not
That's
on
the next, that's
Oh,
next.
I'm sorry.
That's okay, no problem.
Jake, through you, Janet, if you'd like some help doing title search, it's one of my passions, believe it or not.
Okay, I will send it out to you and have you assist, and because like I say, it would be nice to make sure that nothing falls through the cracks.
Okay.
I'll send it to both committees, and if you don't want to see it, just delete it.
But if you have ones you want to look at that you haven't been able to figure out or a problem, let me know which ones they are. Happy to take care of it.
I will. I got it. I got them highlighted on the spreadsheet. Okay. All right, so at least that gives us, some sort of opportunity there. Then the next item on the agenda, which again, it's amazing on how my cat seems to move things on the screen and he's not even that close. The purchase of the Hudlin property. I went and found out that it
Can
ended
I,
up.
before you start the Hudlin
sorry.
discussion, in case people don't know it, Pat and I represent the Hudlins on the property, just so that everybody knows that.
Yeah, I think that's smart that we They
Thanks,
have to
Ron.
recuse themselves, I think, from the discussion. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
for that.
that's what I was gonna ask you. Do you want us just to leave totally or just not talk? Or do you want us to talk?
I think it's perfectly fine that you be here, don't you guys?
Okay, so we just wanted to disclose that.
Yep.
So that, just so you know that.
Okay. All right,
John,
thank
okay.
you, Ron and Pat. Again,
You
I
can't
found
have,
out, go
just
ahead.
clarification, it wouldn't be right for Ron to recuse himself now because we wouldn't have a quorum then of the Affordable Housing Committee.
True.
So I think it's, I think if he's just present and doesn't comment, maybe it'll suffice.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Just an opinion only,
Okay, I know I see Pauline with her hands up. Anybody on the committee or trust have anything in between?
Well, I don't think we've had the discussion yet on the topic, have we?
Just that I'm going to start bringing it up, but I think the question was asked and I don't know. Let's find out from Pauline, see if she has an answer. Pauline?
Thank you, Janet. Yes, I will defer to Ken. I agree. I do think anyone with any investment in this property should recuse themselves from discussion, but that does not mean they need to leave the meeting. In my view, just saying.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and that's about what I think, they can be part, they can listen to the discussion, but not make, the comments because again, that may be held against them.
Or not against them, against us, or against you, but thank you.
Understood. All right, thank you, Pauline. Okay, again, the property was available approximately a year ago, and it, again, as the way that the track has gone, it was under agreement. From what I understand, it was now let go of that agreement, so it's back on the market. And it is approximately 7.38 acres of land. Let's see, it's 7.39 acres of land. It is mostly all ledge. For those who don't know, it's at the end of High Street, which is next to Neshoba Park. If you're looking at Neshoba Park Assisted Living, it's over to the right-hand side of it, and it goes straight down to Groton School, Groton Harvard Road. And with that, there is town-owned land that also pretty much follows the same thing all the way up to, and I want to say Central Ave in Columbia. So with that, it was something that I know that I had been interested since 2016 to try to see if the town can go ahead and purchase it, because it would link us to Groton Harvard Road, where then individuals could then go down there to get to Pine Meadow, Oak Ridge, Tooker property and all that for open space. So it was one of the items that, like I say, kept emphasizing it would be nice if we could. Now it's back on the market. I had a conversation with Robert Pompram to go ahead and ask him whether or not we as a town could pursue it. And he is talking to the town is interested. I just thought I'd let you know that the town, he's talking to other departments to see exactly when they might be, we could get together. We also too would like to get together with the broker, which is, again, Ron and Pat, as well as trying to find out when, or, other information about the property. I reached out to Ron and Pat to get more information. I do have the sales sheet, so I can pass that on. I got that later, later today, so I'll pass that on to the team. But again, the town is interested. Now, what currently is on that property, majority of it's ledge, as many of you may know, because it goes straight down into Groton Harvard Road. And for those of us who have walked it, it's just, again, open space, ledge, and it's quite an incline. And I know when they had been talking about some property next to it, it would have been quite a slope to go ahead and build houses or anything like that. So what there is now, there is one house on there. It's an old colonial that has been, oh geez, I think it's been over 30 years, almost 30 years before, since anybody's really lived there. But it needs to be torn down for sure. But I don't know, again, some of the other questions that we need to go ahead and ask is if that property that is on, I'm gonna call the flat section of Zero High Street, if we might be able to do a joint type thing of open space around it and maybe put some sort of senior housing at the top of High Street, because again, that already has a house and already, it's close to Neshoba Park. It's got availability of accessing and, from High Street and such, where the other can be kept as open space, because the area that's the open space part is adjacent to the area that the town already owns. So it would be nice to be able to keep that. So these are some of the questions that I spoke to with the town manager, and he's going to reach out again to some of the other departments. And we'd like to try to have a meeting sometime next week. And got to find out from them, when would be a good time, and find out from the brokers as well, to see, what we can do for negotiations and such. So I just want to let you know that it did come back on the market. I gather coming to all the different meetings, saying that we need to look for open space, open properties, worked because he was very, like I say, very receptive. Find out about the departments being receptive, and we'll keep our fingers crossed that maybe we can move forward with it. And 7.39 acres is nothing to sneeze at. And especially if there's a way that we can make it a win-win in two different categories, senior housing as well as open space. So we'll see. Any feedback from anybody?
I have a
Ken?
que-
Yep.
I challenge you to, when you say that the town is interested, I'd like to know who the town is that you mentioned that's interested.
I'm sorry, the town of Ayer.
No, I mean, who in the town? When you say the town is interested, is it the Board of Selectmen that's interested? Is it
The town
who's
manager,
represented themselves at this point in time that they're interested?
town manager said that they would be interested in looking at it, finding out more information, doing our due diligence. However, it doesn't mean that, it's going to be a signed contract. That's why we need to go ahead and get all the different departments together next week to discuss it, to see and how they want to move forward, and if they're going to be moving forward. It's more of, I got the ball started, that sure, we're going to go ahead and start working on, start looking at it. Does that help, Ken?
I'll reserve my comments till I find out, what boards are going to meet and talk about it.
Okay, right now I know he's going to meet up with, I want to say, planning, conservation. Trying to think of who else he spoke with. I told him to get the assessor, when we were discussing. And I don't know whether or not he was going to include DPW, but that would be it. So, okay, I got Cindy's hand up and I got a Jeff hand up. Cindy?
After talking with you the other day, Mike and I went and walked it. And there's a lot of space there that could, ledge or no ledge, there's a lot of space there that could easily be built. And if you guys haven't seen the property, I would recommend going and taking a look at it. Or what, we're not supposed to, Pat? You're shaking your head. Maybe we're not supposed to. Okay, never mind. Don't go do it. I just did something illegal. I don't care. Arrest me.
I think the seller's just concerned if somebody fell and got hurt or something, because it is.
Oh, all right. Well,
you
we're
know,
mountain
kinda.
climbers. We're not going to fall and get hurt, but the
No.
rest of you guys don't. Never mind. I'm sorry.
They were just here this morning saying, I hope people aren't out there going all over that land.
Oh, yeah, we were.
Yeah, and
Okay, so y'all can take my word for it. It's really it's a beautiful property.
And I can go ahead and share the listing as well that I was sent. So I'll share that with everybody. But just to go ahead and give the seller some background information, people have been walking that area for the past 30 years. So it's very difficult not to tell people to be behind their houses. So so with that. All right, Jeff, I know you've got your hand raised.
Thank you. Yeah, I guess I'm gonna come back from so I'm sitting here saying we have a limited amount of cash, we have limited resources to purchase land here in town with. And that land is currently zoned in the A2 zoning district, which is not going to allow us by right to do multifamilies above 2 units. It's not going to allow us by right to use anything, it's minimum zoning. Zoning is more, you need to have more land per unit than in our general residence. So, you know, all things considered, how is this going to be the absolute best use of the funds to build the greatest number of units that we can? I would, of course, defer to the gentleman who sits below me on the screen about how it could possibly be done, but I think that's putting the cart before the horse at this point. But in general, it's minimum, I believe it's minimum 12,000 square feet and a 24,000 square foot for a multifamily. Nothing else is allowed by right in that area, as opposed to a general residence area where it's minimum 10,000 square feet plus 3,000 square feet to go to a multi. And you can have anything you can, I believe, and don't quote me, I always have to check our use regulations before I go down this road, but the additional square footage is necessary to do multi-unit buildings. Whether or not an assisted living, whether or not senior housing would be available or not, I don't know. If it's a community project, which would come under Chapter 183, Section 40A or 40B, is that something that the town can actually take on to do? Because the Chapter 40 and Chapter 40B do indeed, they have more freedom to do what they want based on what the underlying zoning districts are. I think it would be a challenge, quite honestly, and this is my opinion. I'm not speaking for anybody but Jeff Tillotson at this point. And I think you all know me to say when it's my opinion, I say right up front it's my opinion. This would be an interesting experience of if we had to rezone this to a higher density or a different by right use, we would be probably tipping the scale towards what would be an overlay possibly, but probably spot zoning in the eyes of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. So those are just some other issues that I want to put on the table that I would like, and I think we would probably have to spend some time looking at. But and don't get me wrong, I'm sitting in the seat because I want this town to have more accessible housing for more people. It's a great town. But the way our zoning sits, our zoning works out for this area now, it adds a challenge. It adds a level of difficulty and a level of challenge to it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Jeff. All right, Sean, you were next with your hand.
Actually, I think Pauline had hers up before.
Well, I've got to go through the board.
Sure. Okay, all right, fair enough. So I just, similar to Ken's question, I guess maybe just for a little bit further clarification. So your discussion with the town manager was that he would explore through the departments if this was even something that was worth bringing to any board.
Correct.
Is that okay? I just wanted that for a better understanding.
Yeah,
So this
I
is
mean,
very like basic,
very
level,
basic.
like
very
should we
basic.
even consider like bring it to a board? Okay,
Yes.
thank
Yeah.
you.
I probably, the way that I worded it, saying that the town is interested, it's more of, I asked him if we can try to pursue it, because again, the last time, it fell through the cracks and, we didn't have any type of opportunity, so.
Okay, perfect. Thank you
Okay.
for clarifying.
All right, Alicia? Yeah, I know Ken. All right, Ken?
So I just want to make sure everyone understands that, I really am on board with like Jeff to do any kind of project we can. I guess my thought was if this, I'm just going to clarify that maybe you had this as a thought, Janet, that if we could get control of the land, following up on what Alicia said and you said, if we could get control of a piece of land, then using Alicia's concept of reaching out to, with an RFP to a qualified nonprofit, that nonprofit would be able to overcome the zoning problem because they could apply as a 40B. Is that what we kind of are thinking as a goal to move? So if we were able to get a piece of land and the land wasn't zoned, we can overcome zoning by having a 40B. Then we need to have, basically a situation where we would have a cooperative 40B, not an adversarial 40B. And then that could land on any piece of land, on any zone, because it does override zoning. 40Bs do. So I'd like to, if it's possible, to reach out to Alicia, and maybe we can start with just researching who these qualified nonprofits are, other than the NOAA. I mean, we know who NOAA is, but is there a resource, Alicia, to determine if there's like 5 in the state of Massachusetts that are actually qualified to do this kind of work? Maybe we can have that as a resource for our committee as well. And then, there might be a way to overcome it, but I'd be very interested in just to see how the boards react. And on a personal note, again, just my own opinion, I wouldn't do anything without some serious testing and understanding what that land is like, the actual land itself. So.
Yeah, and to answer, like say with Jeff's question about, use of our funds and everything, I forgot one of the other departments that, was first on my list when I was talking with Robert was Alicia, you and Alan, to go ahead and make sure that, you were first that I suggested to be involved, because again, if we can get a nonprofit developer to also help with the cost wise, so that, maybe funds can be used for the open space section of it, while the development part would be purchased by the nonprofit. So again, we're just bouncing ideas off, because I just did not want it to, again, just disappear from view. Alicia, go ahead.
So this was something I was thinking about today, and I was thinking about putting in a new business, but let's talk about it here. This is great. I so appreciate you just keeping on this, Janet, because it takes somebody just following up on all these things. It really does. But maybe in a future couple discussions, we can start having discussions about what would be the process, public hearing process, make sure we're doing what community wants, the public wants us to be doing. Also, maybe maybe we should get in the trust funds that they can do some due diligence work too, if something comes forward. So, we asked for 60,000, we say we're going to do another 5 families, but maybe we take some funds and put it aside so that we have some money to do some due diligence if a parcel comes forward. Because the point of having the trust is that we can move faster than waiting for full town meeting. And I don't know, once we move the money into the trust, can the trust then do something and do some due diligence work on that? Those are questions that we should be answering. And how would the process be? Yes, there's a number of nonprofits out there, and they're rated and all that sort of stuff. So we can work on finding and reviewing nonprofits. Usually when you put out an RFP like this, you make personal phone calls to all the ones that you're looking for responses to, but it's also a public process. So you put it out there, and they're checking these processes all the time, these RFPs all the time, looking for opportunities. It's just like grants. So this is a really good initial conversation about how we go forward with this. But I do think we want to make sure we do a public hearing and hear what the public's looking for too.
Again, this is just the start.
Yeah.
And whatever. The other thing too, with regards to due diligence, one thing that the CPC has is in its pocket, and what we will, the CPC will be presenting as one of the warrants is a breakdown of how when the monies come in, we have to do a disbursement between the different categories. One of the other disbursements that's made is something called due diligence, just in case property does come up and we want to go ahead and do some sort of evaluation of the property.
Oh, okay.
All right, so that we used to have it as 12,000. Now we've increased it to 20. Just again, it has to get approved by town meeting, but that's one of the warrant articles for the CPC articles. And it's more of, again, just in case and I always have trouble with the name of, have an adjuster come in and check out the properties. And if we needed to do any type of phase one, whatever. So it covers those types of costs. So we have some sort of monies put to the side already for CPC, especially if
Okay.
we're looking at it for open space. So that helps out that. And then if we can do the same thing with the trust, I think that helps out as well.
Great.
All right. All right, Jeff?
Thank
James,
you. And
Hi, James.
I'm so sorry I'm late, but you mentioned about, I know it was going to the town about addition to 30,000, but we made the statement what it would be used for. Now, we couldn't in turn change our mind and use it for a different purpose, but
And also too, we need to look at the bylaws because I need, I think the trust needs to look at the bylaws to see whether or not that's even on there as well. I don't remember, I'm sorry. Does that help at all, James?
yes, I'm fine. I know we had said what we was going to do with the addition of 30,000. And that's why I was saying is we got to be careful. As long as I guess we haven't committed yet. So I don't know. We just have to be sure. That's all. I just want to make sure we attempt to do what we say we're going to do. That's all.
Okay. Jeff?
thank you. The location is good. I live past it. I think it's a great location. It's a walking location to downtown. My house to downtown is exactly a mile. As you guys know, I ride it back and forth all the time. And so that would put them at, if they came out on Groton Harbor Road, about a mile to downtown. So it's in non-pandemic times, people flow into town to pick up the train all the time. If they're leaving town, we've got a great walkable neighborhood here. They are not close to Stop and Shop or another market, a Shop and Save, or another market, but that's not something you can overcome. That's easily overcome. But so, I got talking about the zoning and the challenge of not being dense enough to make a really big hit. And I got to tell you, it's a great location, this neighborhood over here. So I just wanted to get that comment into the meeting.
All right, sounds good. Anything else from the committee or the trust? Public, Pauline, I see that you have your hands up.
Thank you, Janet. It's good to see you after Sunday. Couple of thoughts. I'm glad you've explored this property as we discussed. I did not know there was a home on the property, and I understand the town does not own it, but it is a property Habitat may have interest in, at least the home parcel, since it has an existing foundation.
No.
And of course, we have 3 homes. Habitat would love to have a 4th home in Ayer, which would give Ayer significant precedence in north central Massachusetts. The other question I have is these upcoming meetings you've mentioned about whether or not the town is interested in acquiring the parcel. Will these be public? You mentioned meetings with department heads and so on and so forth. Meetings with department heads, most citizens don't get to observe, but they should be public so that we know what our department heads are discussing. Can you comment on that for me?
The only thing I can go ahead and say, this is investigatory, all right? I mean, we're just investigating right now. If moving forward, then yes, I can see we go ahead and involve the public, but you know, it's more of, this is the first time I don't know what ended up happening, like say with the Tucker property, you know, when CPC purchased that. So with that, to go ahead and have it as being an open meeting, maybe Sean might be able to help out with that. I just think that in the initial phases, you've got to ask the questions and, you know, before you can have a meeting, so that instead of saying, I'll get back to you, I'll get back to you, I don't know that, I'll get back to you. You know, I'd rather get some information together before we move forward. Sean, does that sound about right?
If I may comment before Sean,
Okay,
the Tucker property was offered to the town. That's a unique situation. I believe, with all due respect to Sean, that was long before he became a selectman. And we approved that at town meeting. This is a really unique situation, as you and I discussed on Sunday. And I did not realize there was already a home on that property when we talked Sunday. But for all intents and purposes, if there is a home on the property, it might behoove the town to ask a nonprofit such as Habitat to at least look at it and see if they may want to acquire that from the owner / agent, to see if maybe there's a way to acquire at least another affordable home for the town and then deal with the rest of the property after. Just a thought.
okay. Approximately 15 years ago, when I was back there, I would not say the house was in any type of condition. I don't know about the foundation. And that was 15 years ago, so I don't know what it looks like now. I know Cindy, did you see it?
I do. Yeah, I was afraid to go in.
Yeah, so, but Pauline, you're right. I don't know what type of foundation it is. I don't know what type of utilities go in there and everything. Again, that's one of the questions that we want to go ahead and find out, because from the listing, it says that the sewer and sewer and water is, forgive me, nearby.
Gotta be abandoned by now. It's gotta be junk.
Oh yeah, no, it's definitely abandoned. It's been abandoned for, again, over 25 years that I know of.
But you also understand that this is a property that Habitat has the resources to renovate.
You think Habitat wants to spend $1.5 million to buy a lot for a house?
Ken, I don't know the answer to that, but why not give them the opportunity to look at it?
Point of order. I don't think the town should be marketing properties to Habitat for onesie twosies in this situation. I'd like to move on.
Okay, all right, well,
Oh, thank you.
yeah, and again, the whole thing behind it is, it's investigatory. I think I'm using that word right. I do see a hand raised with Pat and Ron. I don't, Fred.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I know we weren't going to make a comment, but I just want to make a factual comment. One of them was just clarified. I wanted people to understand that house sits on only one big lot of 7 acres, roughly. And so we're more than happy to sell it at 1.5 million, no problem, I would assume. The other is the outlet to Groton Harvard Road. That is not something that can be accomplished easily because there's only 25-foot frontage on Groton Harvard Road. Anything that's ever been contemplated with this property has been a cul-de-sac type property that would come nowhere near Groton Harvard
Isn't
Road.
it 0 Thornton or?
Just a point of clarification, because if the discussion goes off on those two tangents, it's hopeless, I think.
So it would be coming out, it would be coming out on High Street.
It has to, there's no other way out.
Right, so that's why, yeah, again, that's one reason why, you know,
There's
we need,
also some paper streets involved too,
correct,
so.
Thornton is a paper street, and that's
Yeah,
part of
so
the,
it's not, so the 1.5 million is just the beginning. this is a very expensive site to develop.
Oh, very much,
Then-
because it's all ledge.
Well, it's a very expensive site to develop, yeah.
Mhm. So,
The central
Okay.
Ave site, the central Ave site that has 7 condos on it now that all sold. That was an expensive site too. What, about a year's worth of blasting?
yeah,
But
un-
there,
un-
you know, so I
yeah,
mean, it's
understand that.
just a fact, just for clarification purposes.
All right, sounds good. All right, Ron. All right, so again, I wanted to bring everybody up to date that, this property came back on the market, and I'm trying to, see whether or not we can pursue it one way or another and make sure that we get the feedback, from those parties that will be concerned, and see if we can go ahead and move ahead. So, anything else from anyone?
May I have a comment, Madam Chair?
Yes,
It's
Jeff?
funny, when I thought about the walkability of this property, I actually saw the walkability being, Cambridge Street would be the natural walk-in, and that is actually past a parcel that I believe the town already controls.
Yes,
Thank
the
you.
town, the town owns 2 properties. One is a path that goes from Groton Harvard that cuts into the Hudlin property, that goes out to this Thornton Street, which goes to, and again, I'm going to butcher the name, Noacocochis. And it's, I think, a little over an acre piece of land there. So, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, Sean.
I don't know, through Jake, if you just wanted me to answer on that.
Oh.
And I hope I'm answering this correctly, but one, department head meetings are not subject to open meeting law, so that would not be an appropriate thing. 2, we're in the exploratory phase, so it's not even as if the town has made a decision to even approach the board. And then the 3rd is property, just if the town was to move forward with this, that's a big if, that would be subject to executive session of the select board. So,
Okay. All right, thank you. So again, maybe, I probably used the wrong word saying the town is interested. I probably should have said we're exploring it. So I do apologize for the confusion. But we got to start somewhere. Okay. If there's nothing else, then I'm going to move on to Alicia, so she can give the CBDG public hearing update.
So we were doing a public hearing for our current CDBG grant, which is our COVID grant. And when you do a CDBG grant, you have to have at least one public hearing before you write your application, and one public hearing while you're in the middle of your grant. So this was our 2nd public hearing. When we do those, we have to post them and everything. So we tend to try and put all sorts of things in them. So we reported on our COVID grant, and thank you everybody there was a number of people from committee and trust that were there. I appreciate it. And then we also talked about future projects with CDBG, everything from, senior centers to go. What I am planning right now is to write a smaller CDBG grant just for housing rehab this summer, and apply for housing rehab money this summer. But we got some input, and we got very positive input about the housing rehab program, and the public saying that yes, they would like us to go forward with that. So thank you everybody who showed up. I appreciate it.
All right. Anything for new business is there any other questions or anything from feedback, those that were able to attend? Oh, okay. Then moving on, new business. Is there anything for new business? Right, hearing crickets. Anything for old business?
May I just, Madam Chair? Affordable Housing Trust didn't exist last year. Look at all we're doing.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
I mean, the Affordable Housing Committee, I don't know what you guys were doing, and I know, and Mr. Diskin Ken would tell me all about what you guys were doing all the time, and you were doing stuff along. But I gotta say, there's a lot going on. There's a pent up demand for it. And thank you, Janet, and thank you, Alicia, for all of the work that you guys do. I mean, I saw Alicia today. I think I was upstairs signing papers for the planning board when Alicia was dealing with Fire Bob and and Charlie, and they were running out the door to help her out. So I just want to say it's great.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that I appreciate, again, with the committee as well as the trust is, a fire was was sort of like placed underneath our feet at the 2017 master plan, where, Alan goes ahead and says, here's the master plan from, whatever year it was, and let's see how many of these things got done. And it was embarrassing in some ways, where it's like, you make these plans, let's try to accomplish them. So I think having that fire put underneath many of us to say, we got to get some stuff done. And I think, again, I appreciate this committee and the trust to getting it done. So Jeff, I definitely agree with you. So thank you. It's nice to have a good team for sure. All right. Anything else, committee wise?
Can
I
I
see
ask-
Colleen.
Yep, can I ask a quick question? At our last affordable housing trust meeting, we had sort of briefly broached the subject of going back to in-person meetings in April or staying remote or hybrid. And I think we said we would bring that discussion to this joint meeting.
Oh.
So I'm just wondering if that's something we should.
From what I understand from Cindy, she said Robert is going to be sending out a email with regards to whatever the feedback, I believe, from the board, of moving ahead. The last email I saw that there was something that's going to happen, like say in June. I know it opens up in April or something, but there's going to give more of a guideline of when we're going to be able to start meeting back in person. So my gut feeling is the April meetings will still be Zoom.
The April meeting for the library board are in person.
Okay.
I don't know. I think the boards have the discretion, right?
To the end of the fiscal year, they have the discretion, but it can be in person come 1st of April, correct, Cindy?
Yeah, I think what's going to happen is each board and committee can choose whether they want to meet by Zoom or in person. And you can't pick and choose, meeting by meeting. You have to, select one option. And I know Robert's going to send an email to everybody about that pretty soon.
So my feeling on it is the same as I said last time. The people on our committee and trust who had concerns because of family members and stuff like that, I would want to know what they think and would want to go by what they want, because I can go either way.
Does everybody want to go through and say their feelings about this? Do first the trust and then the committee?
I think that sounds good. And all those, like say, let's go through, hold on a minute. I know we see, Pauline, you've got a hand raised?
Yes, Janet. My recollection of discussing this and I hope Sean Copeland will correct me if I'm wrong, because I can be, there was at least discussion of the option of going live and Zoom. And I know the selectmen, I believe, have decided they will do both. And I believe there's an opportunity for other committees to also do both. Meet live if you choose, but also have the Zoom option for those residents like me who are hard of hearing. So I just throw that out there as you consider what you decide.
Yes, your recollection is correct.
Okay.
Thank you, Sean.
All right. That's good. Like I say, good to know. All right, let's go ahead and again, let's see how people fare for meeting live or meeting Zoom, or makes no difference. I want to do committee. Ken?
Makes no difference to me.
Okay. Ron?
I'd do live.
Okay. James?
No difference.
Okay. And I go ahead, say makes no difference. Go ahead, Jake.
It makes no difference to me. And like you guys said, as long as you guys are comfortable with meeting in person, that's great. If not, then we'll make it happen. But I have no issue. Jeff.
I am a makes no difference person.
Okay. Pat.
I'm okay. I'll try live. I was one who said
Okay.
no initially because I have a senior at home that's significant senior, so I was concerned, but I don't think we're as in.
What's
Okay,
the
that's
definition
excellent.
of, what's the definition of a significant senior?
He's going to be 96.
Oh, I thought you meant there was-
Woo!
Okay.
That's significant.
Cindy,
No difference.
James,
No difference.
Sean.
I'm a fan of live myself, but it's a no difference. But I'm also wanting to protect Pat's significant senior. If that means being on Zoom, let's continue on Zoom.
No, absolutely, I agree.
Sean, I figure when you're getting close to triple digits, that's significant.
Colleen.
And then last, Colleen.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine either way as well. I was in a different situation in the fall when my kids were too young to be vaccinated, but that has changed. So I may still put my mask on if the room is crowded, but I'm more than comfortable meeting live. But again, if others prefer, I'm fine with staying on Zoom for a little longer. So no difference.
Well, I think that's excellent news, Colleen. I'm happy to hear. Where I was thinking of that. You had talked about that previously before. And your safety and making sure you guys are comfortable is a priority. So I think that the general consensus would be, do you guys want to go back to live meetings? Would that be appropriate?
I will, Jake, through you, just and Cindy,
Certainly.
Knox, since you're still on, maybe you can answer. So I just, if we could do similar to what the select board is doing, and I can't remember what Cindy had said, but for the residents such as Pauline and whatnot, if through July, if these meetings, if we're going to be live in person, if we could still have the Zoom component to it, if that would be appropriate.
I think that that's going to be one of the options.
Okay, perfect.
I'm pretty sure it is.
Thank you so much, Sean. I really appreciate that.
Yeah,
Thank
absolutely.
you, Cindy.
I feel that way for Pat too, that if you change your mind and you feel uncomfortable, that you should just Zoom in.
Thank you.
So,
Oh, absolutely.
so Cindy, I guess the little issue you thought was there when they did Zoom and personal, that's no longer there, Cindy?
Cindy too?
Yes.
You know, before we talked about it, and you said there was some type of an issue there when you have the Zoom and the in-person. I said that issue is no longer there.
Well, we had big problems last time with the audio and the video, but we've purchased some equipment that should resolve those issues very nicely.
Thank you.
I'm going to be testing that out tomorrow.
Thank you.
Yep.
So do people want to? It sounds like Cindy and the town is not quite ready to go to those joints. Do you want to go to doing both? Or do you want to do a Zoom meetings next time? This is a good place. Do you want to do a joint Zoom meeting? Do you want to do separate Zoom meetings? What would you like for next month?
Why don't we do Zoom in April, the next meeting, and then possibly live meeting in May?
I like that idea. That's what I was going to go ahead and suggest. And I think we still need a joint meeting, especially since, again, we've got the CPC warrants that are, we'll take that back. April, we won't know what the town votes on until the 25th. So, so with that, I don't know whether or not we need a joint meeting next month. I think it might be good to break it off again so that the committee meets to discuss, you know, the properties and everything else like that, so that we can go ahead and then move forward with the trust. I'd rather, and my comment is, you know, I'd rather have two separate meetings, one for the committee, one for the trust.
So the committee had agreed that they wanted to do, what was it, the second Wednesday, was it? I can't remember, guys.
I was just checking my calendar and I have it as the 13th, which would be the second Wednesday of April.
Right,
Okay,
and that's the trust.
That's the housing trust. Thank you very much. And yeah, and we basically just chose that as the night because it's the same night every month.
and
that
do you guys want the Zoom for that?
Yes,
Yeah, we
for-
could go with the Zoom. That way we don't put too much stress on the town at this time. We can let them work through their if there's any deficiencies with the equipment they bought, and they can do some trial and error. And that way we know what to expect from our meetings as well.
Okay,
And what time is the meeting?
6 p.m.
Ours
6?
6.
Sorry.
Okay, thanks.
that time is for me because I couldn't tell the difference. I was looking at my other meeting, which is tomorrow's at 7. I don't know why I tried to make this 7, so I'm sorry, guys.
Tomorrow's at
No
7.
worries.
Yeah. James, tomorrow's at 7:15, okay?
7:50. Thank you. If I come over at 7, I will not be late.
15 minutes early. 15 minutes early is 20 minutes late, right, James?
There you go.
All right, so with regards to the committee, all right, we've got, again, if the trust is meeting on the 13th, give us a few days. Do we want to go back to a Friday morning, meeting?
Okay with me.
We can do something on, April 15th? It's not tax day because that's been moved out to the 19th.
Okay.
Ron, would you be available the morning of the 15th?
Yeah, sure.
James?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll do also a Zoom meeting, or Alicia, will you be? Okay, we'll do Friday morning, the 15th,
And that's 10, what time you say?
10 a.m. All right, I think that works out really well, and that'd be also a Zoom. Because I reiterate what Jake said, you know, let the town, you know, get rid of all let the dust settle and everything, so. All right, is there anything else? Not on my end. All right, then I'm going to go ahead and entertain a motion to adjourn the committee.
I so move.
Second,
All right, and Ron seconds. All right, and go ahead, Jake.
Do I have to make a motion for that, or do I just call the
All for one.
since call for? Can I hear a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Seconded.
Thank you. We would adjourn the meeting at
Right.
7:31.
You got it.
Thank you all.
All right, thank you
night,
so much,
guys.
everybody.
Thank you,
Thank
guys.